Hello, everyone. It's Nico here, Imaginaction podcast, Cross Borders. So yes, I'm so excited to bring part 2 now. So those who already listened part 1 is all about the interviews that were done by Uri Noi Meir with Ruth Cross. So this time it's very exciting because this time Ruth will be talking to Bárbara Santos and be asking questions, and Bárbara Santos will be answering and sharing the knowledge and experiences. So yeah, let's hear what Bárbara and Ruth, they have to talk about.
To say thank you so much. It's been really inspiring to meet you and to hear. I was part of a Madalena's group in Granada for several years, and so I feel really it's like an honor to to meet people who have been part of breathing life into this, and to feel it sort of the spread of it has given rise to so much. I've got lots of questions. I think one thing that I've been curious about as you've been speaking is how you track your work. Like, how is it that you document or kind of harvest from your work? So I'm interested in research as well as things continue and get bigger and grow. And it sounds like, these last 30 years you've been on a huge journey to get to where you are now. And I'm interested in that side of maybe more the backstage side of things. I don't know if you can talk a bit about that.
Yeah, maybe I show you some things quickly. I just take here and I back to you. So for me, it's like it's really important. It's like in the Theatre of the Oppressed, Boal used to say as a concept of creative multiplication. Yeah, he used to say that as multiplication, when it's not creative, could be a little bit less than the original. Yeah, it's a kind of copy. It's a kind of trying to copy. When you try to copy something, you become a little bit less than original. Yeah, and then he really stressed this idea of creative multiplication. And this meaning you have to take the responsibility of do what you learned, but also to recognize that you are yourself. You are not the other from your learn. You have your own situation and your own style, your own personality too, that is going to influence your work. And then there's no sense to copy somebody. And he used to say that one of the important roles of the KURINGA is the systematization too. Yeah, as also responsibility of the multiplication is to systematize. And then I am doing my work. Yeah, I'm really doing my work. It's like for me, it's important that, for instance, when Uri was mentioned what happened in our workshop of Rainbow of Desire. It's like, I take this as for instance here, it's something like that you saw. Yeah? This was 2000 and I was developing it as a kind of how to explain people what I want to do, and then trying out and try again, and also is writing about that, because when you writing is a way of rethink, is a way of self-criticism too. When you write down, I have a lot of notebooks here, and everything, people that going to make a workshop with me, going to see me with a notebooks, always, because I plan my work. People say, wow, you have 30 years work experience, and then you still go with your notebooks, to write, make a plan, and afterwards you say, this don't work or work. And then I think this is what to be creative is also you put your energy, because this is a process. This is cumulative. You not learn from once. You learn from the diversity of that, yeah. And this experience that you told about the Madalena's Granada, for instance, when I made this book, in Portuguese. And now we put this in the Feminist Theatre of Oppressed, Teatro de la Oprimida. Now we have in Spanish. But in Spanish, we already have a new chapter. Is something new, because the process was so intense. The thing that we discover, and then it's like the contribution is really important. The experience that we made when we write or we record or make a film, or we, I know that have a different kind of way to register it, but when we have to share. Yes, like sharing is a important activity, important aim that we have to have, because this is going to change, going to develop. It's like this is my way of working. Also, reflect on my own journey, reflect on what I made together, because as I told, it is a kind of collective path, cannot be individual. You just can do this with others. If you don't have others, it's like you cannot, just limitation.
Yeah, thank you so much. This is really, I'm really, embarking on a lot of research and action. So this is very much kind of, rings true to my reality very much. I was curious as well about if, what's the role of a mentor for you? We're at the point of kind of developing a potential mentorship program, and each person who arrives, I think, has a different understanding of what mentor means. I wondered if you could talk a bit about mentors that you've had in your life. I guess Augusto Boal being one of them, but maybe you have other people, and how you understand the role of a mentor and what it means to you.
Yeah, I don't know if I understand the concept. It's like I'm not most sympathetic with this word, to be sincere. It's like I don't use this word myself. Yeah, it's like one, but I know that it's not easy to find a good word. It's not to criticize your person, but I know that it's difficult, the concept. What I am doing, for instance. I do in the different ways. For instance, with a CTO in Rio, I made a long-term 2 years project, and I could not be in Brazil always. And then we have the Kuringas that going to work with the groups, and I work with them. I work with them like with reports, And then I used to work with the people when it was possible to meet personally. We meet together, and then we discuss from their questions, from their problems, from what they identify as problematic. I normally use to prepare a program to feed it. Okay, my question is blah blah. Okay, and then I use to make a program that to feed it, and then we try to work on it a little bit. And afterwards, they are going to work with their groups. How I accompany them? I accompany them with the reports. I think I use a lot of that, because for me it's important people learn to write. Usually the groups say, oh, it's really a bit difficult to write, to describe. But I am so used to create nice reports. It's like people express to me how was the experience. Sometimes we just talk as answering their reports or make meetings, but always based on something concrete. Always based, okay, I was working with my group and this was the challenge. For instance, with these women from Kyiv, we met and we tried to identify what's your questions, what's your problems, and then from that I work on it. I work a little bit with them. They going to work with the group. They always write to me a report or report with photos, sometimes with videos. And then we come together and then we discuss the report. We never make something abstract. Always concrete, always based on something really concrete. For me is that, and I be accompanied. That was my work with Boal, was always based on it. He was not with me in my group, but I would make a report, I would write about. And Boal used to say, please don't describe me what you made. Tell me what has impressed you, what has touched you, what took your attention. Yeah. And then was that for try to find out something more inside, not only being the description. Yeah. I would say that has to be a collective path. It cannot be like I am guiding you. It's like what's guiding us is the reality, such a concrete reality, and then we can work together on it. It's like as we have to find our own way of working. I think we don't have exactly a receipt. Yeah. It's different with the people that I'm working in Hong Kong, for instance. We make a play together, but at the same time that we make a play together that I am directing, this is different. They are learning to be a Kuringa, yeah, through this process. And then the way as how they are going to present, and they are going to be a Kuringa in front of the audience. And then we are discussing a process. We have to create a collective process. And then we have to create a way of deal with the information. Yeah. I think is that. I do a lot of that because in my work here in Kuringa, for instance, my students, they have a chance, when don't have pandemic, once a year, I make a seminar of multiplication too. Is the seminar, what is the seminar about? People bring their questions, but concrete questions for their own experience. And then we as collective, we work on this. We discuss it and then we work on it together, yeah, in this kind of a seminar of multiplication. But I think this is the key point for me. It has to be concrete, it has to be not, like people imagine what is being Kuringa and they start to ask questions for you, but how would be if the audience come on stage or not? How would, like imagine how would be? I think it's not going to work, but this can work when it's, okay, I was there in front of the audience was make this, and then I didn't know what to say, and then I was like, I don't know.
Yeah, I love this reply. In a way, it kind of goes back to what you were saying at the beginning about the not only the sustainability, but the longevity of work. So it's not just going in and making one workshop or one project in a place, but which is the same in a way, it seems like, with the idea of whether mentorship is the right word or not, but this kind of accompanying, let's call it, another is not just a one-off thing that happens for, I think that what I'm understanding is that what you're saying is it's much stronger when it's working on concrete aspects, which I agree with completely, so that it's not just, it doesn't go into the abstract, otherwise we start talking about stuff that doesn't really exist, then it becomes magic because it's a bit unobtainable, but also something that is that has a continuity to it, so that there can be a sense of co-creation and co-development between the different people.
Yeah, this is a good key for doing something together, and people feel, because if not, you has something danger and difficult. Danger in the sense, not the aim, but the sense of being difficult. When people think that you are the evaluator, and when they start to be afraid what we are going to, your judgment, it's like you are the one that know everything and come the word. This is something like they be really complex, and it has to be something that you also take responsibility of for the process, not about the other and you, a person that be the one and know everything, and the others come to tell you, today, and then can be afraid. It has to be a really, it's important to build up a trustful environment work. Like, okay, you are open to speak in your own way, and I tried, what I ask you is not a judgment, it's because I want to know, to develop a way of communication That is really fundamental.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you people. Anyway, good luck for the experience. It's like, yeah. Nowadays, it's really important to have a kind of connection that people could have somebody to talk, yeah, even in the physical distancing, because we cannot meet and then you cannot see even what's going on.
I think also the feeling of being part of a network is crucially important. You were speaking before about this sense of when we feel alone as a practitioner, as an artist, as a maker, it's easy to go into a sense of despondency or depression, no? But when we feel part of, like the Magdalenas, for me, really to know that I was part of a group that was based in a city that was very localized, with really working with people with this particular context of being in the south of Spain, but that was happening all over the world with these other groups who are working in localized contexts. For me, that sense of being very concrete and also reaching out is, I think, has a real strong, that the networking aspect has a strong.
Yeah, it's really important, this work, that we break down the isolation. Yeah, because the oppression is really strong in different fields, because this feeling of isolation, yeah, when somebody thinks, this happened with me, but it's only with me and I don't know what to do, because that is so important to work against individualism. And then individualist perspective, it's like I even don't do more forums in this way, like who has an idea, come on stage. I always ask the audience to talk collectively, to exchange ideas before we start to make on stage, especially because my topics, all of them, majority of them is really structural. When we talk about machismo, it's not about one person or other person. It's a really structural problem. Or racism is structural. We cannot solve this because I have an idea. I have to make alliances. I have to make something with others. And then why I'm going on stage alone? It's like it's no sense for this for several of problems that we live in our society. And then I think this has to be the next step of Theatre of the Oppressed, because especially in Europe, in the North, in the global North, become really individualist. And this is my main criticism.